The game starts with the blinds posting their mandatory bet followed by the dealing of the cards. Hi, I'm Ankush and today we'll learn how to play poker in a simple and easy to understand language. This is the only poker video you'll ever need to start your poker journey. We'll be learning how to play No Limit Texas Hold'em, which is the most popular poker variant. You can play it online, at a casino, or at your home. Wherever you choose to play, the gameplay remains the same. The game can be played with a minimum of 2 players going up to 14, but 6 to 9 players is commonly what you will see in most places. To play the game, you'll need a standard deck of cards, chips to bet with, and some players to play with. The goal of the game is to make the best possible 5-card hand with a total of 7 cards. 2 yours and 5 common cards that are open face up at different levels of the game. These 5 cards are common cards and are shared by all the players. The game can be broken down into 4 major sections: pre-betting round, betting rounds, showdown, and hand rankings. To play the game, you first need to know 3 important positions on the table. The first is the dealer, also referred to as the button. The human sitting at this position will have this kind of circular chip in front of them. The chip generally has the word dealer written on it. To the left of the dealer are the blinds. The immediate left position is called the small blind and the position next to that is the big blind. Before any cards are dealt, the blinds post some money. This is a mandatory bet. The human in the big blind posts the current minimum bet, referred to as 1 blind, and the human in the small blind posts half that amount. Before you start your game, the blinds are already fixed. For example, if the big blind is 10 and the small blind is 5, it's a 5-10 game. For this video, we'll be playing a 5-10 game. Once the blinds make their mandatory bet, it's time to deal the cards. The cards are dealt starting from the human to the left of the dealer till every player has 2 cards. In poker, all the actions are always performed in the clockwise direction. Once the cards are dealt, it's time for the first betting round. Since the blinds already made their mandatory bet, the player sitting left to the big blind plays their turn. This player can either call the previous running bet, in this case 10, raise to some amount. The raise should be a minimum of double the big blind and a max of any amount. You can even go all in if you like. This is what the no limit means in the name of the game. There is no upper limit to how much you can bet. The third move a player can make is to fold. This is when you don't want to continue playing in the hand anymore. Let's say Mickey raises to 20. In a similar fashion, it will be the turn of all other players in the clockwise direction and they can choose to call, raise or fold. Turtle calls matching the previous bet of 20. Head calls, dealer folds, small blind folds. Big blind calls, the human puts in 10 more chips and matches the current running bet of 20. Once all the players have matched the running bet or folded, it completes the first betting round. This betting round is called the pre-flop. All the money which was betted till now will be kept in the middle of the table. This is the money which every player is trying to win. This money is also referred to as the pot. After the pre-flop betting round is complete, 3 cards are open face up in the middle of the table. These 3 cards are called the flop. We begin a fresh betting round starting with the first human to the left of the dealer who is still in the game. Starting with this betting round, players have an additional move they can make, called checking. Since there has been no bet made, the player can choose to check. Checking is like you're passing your turn, deciding to play later depending upon what other players do. Or like always, the player can bet an amount or the player can fold. Big blind checks. Mickey decides to bet 40. Because there is a bet made, Turtle cannot check anymore. It can either call, raise or fold. Turtle raises to 100. Head calls. The action is back to big blind, who checked before. The human folds. Mickey calls. This completes the flop betting round. Then comes the turn card, which is opened face up followed by a fresh betting round. This time, no player decided to bet and betting round is over. Then comes the final card called the river, followed by the last betting round. Mickey checks, Turtle bets, Head decides to call, and Mickey folded. I might win this. Tuttle, you will not win this. This marks the completion of all betting rounds, and we move on to the showdown. This is where all the remaining players will show their cards. Based on their hand strengths, it will be decided who wins, and all the money kept in the middle of the table will be given to the player with the best hand. They win the pot. This completes one hand of the game. After this, the dealer chip is passed to the next human, and all the three positions shift by one, and the next hand begins. Other than going to the showdown, there is another way you can win. If at any point a player bets and everybody folds, the game will be stopped there and the player who made the bet wins. Let's do a quick recap. The game starts with the blinds posting their mandatory bet followed by the dealing of the cards. Then we start the first betting round called the pre-flop. Each player can either call the previous bet, raise to an amount, or fold. After the pre-flop betting round is over, three cards are opened face up in the middle of the table. These three cards are called the flop, which is followed by a fresh betting round. Starting with this betting round, players can choose to check if no bet has been made yet. Then comes the turn card followed by a betting round. And then the final card called the river followed by one more betting round. After this, we move on to the showdown where all the remaining players show their two cards and based on their relative hand strength, it will be decided who wins. Now let's learn about the final section, hand rankings. Before we learn about hand rankings, I would love to know whether you play poker or whether you plan to if you're not started already. Please let me know in the comment section. I mostly play online, but live game with friends is what I find the most fun. Let me know about you. Now let's talk about the last section of the game, that is the hand rankings. Remember, the goal of the game is to make the best possible 5-card hand using a total of 7 cards. In poker, we use hand rankings to decide the relative strength of each hand. There are a total of 10 types of hands you can make in the game, and whichever player has the hand with the highest ranking wins. We will learn about all the 10 hand rankings in our next video. So stay tuned, and if you found the video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one. What? Those are not my cards. Where?